Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sarah Peternell, and I'm the owner of Family Nutrition Services in Denver, Colorado. I love to talk about detox, and I love to talk about detox during a particular season in which most people don't really think detox can be beneficial, but it is. I'm talking about the fall and winter. So today I'm going to be sharing my top 3 foods that can really help to support your body's natural detoxification processes during this time of year. So welcome. If you're new to my channel, you can check out some of my other playlists. I have a whole section about detox, so you can find a lot of other videos. And also you can find some videos that I have about general family nutrition and nutrition for children. And I have a whole library full of Hashimoto's videos. You can check those out if you have Hashimoto's. Detox information is also really important for you. So there is some crossover of what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So again, detoxification. Boy, we sort of naturally think about detox in the spring and summer. We're drawn towards lighter foods, fresh, raw, spring vegetables, fresh fruits in the summer, and we kind of stray away from some of the heaviness of cooking and lots of ingredients. Spring and summer is when our body naturally feels most optimal for an enhanced detox. Now let's face it, we're detoxifying all the time. I am, and you are right now watching this video, and if we weren't, we would be dead. So good thing our body works really well for us in order to detoxify and keep us alive. But we can boost and help along and support our detoxification systems so that we can be healthier. And I have lots of different ways that we can do this, and I share them with you in some of my other videos. But one of the easiest things is not to just go in search of like a perfect detox program or a detox in a box that you can buy for lots of money off the shelf at the health food store, but just to start increasing some foods that can help with this process. So it isn't always what we're cutting out. Sometimes it's what we're putting in. In fact, in the fall, we are trying to do some things with our detoxification to support immunity and health going into the fall and winter months. Cold and flu season, and this year, COVID-19. So we want to take extra good care of our bodies and prepare it for maybe pathogens that will be circulating in the air and affecting our respiratory system. But also, just in general, this time of year we're indoors more, we get less sunshine, maybe less exercise if you're used to exercising outside, and we're sitting in some of the stale indoor air that can be harder on our systems. All right, let's get to my top 3 foods. I'm excited to share them with you. The first food that I'm going to be talking about is lately kind of a nutritional powerhouse, superstar, celebrity, and I bet you've heard of it before, bone broth. Yep, bone broth is a really good detoxification food. There are a couple of reasons why I recommend this particular food as part of your diet in the fall and winter to support detoxification, and additionally, as I said, supporting that need for better immunity and better health during the coldest months of the year. First of all, I should say that I actually have a favorite bone broth brand, and you can find the pinned comment down below for Kettle and Fire. I really like their product because here's why. I'm not a big fan of just like sipping on broth. Some people do that. It's not really my gig. But if I'm going to, I want it to taste good and not too brothy or yucky, which even when I make my own broth, which I put a lot of love into, the taste isn't just my favorite. I like to use broths in recipes. So bone broth, high quality bone broth, is really important because it gives you not only the nutritional properties, but some of the best flavor as well. Okay, so Kettle and Fire, check it out down below. And I'll explain how you can use bone broth in just a moment. All right, so if you're drinking bone broth, maybe a little bit every day, or if you're drinking it a few times a week, or just including it into the recipes that you're making, bone broth can help with an increase of energy. The reason why is because it helps hydrate you for starters, but it also helps to kind of get rid of some of that extra debris in the gut that can make you feel sort of bloated or maybe even contribute to constipation. And also bone broth has a really good amino acid that you may have heard of called glutamine that helps to repair the gut if there's any damage from pathogens, infections, leaky gut from food intolerances, etc. So by taking bone broth on a regular basis, you're actually just kind of wiping out some of these things that get in the way, as well as healing the gut lining because of its characteristic glutamine content. So I like to add bone broth to recipes. That's what I was saying when I don't really want to sip on it, although I will from time to time. What I like to do is cook any of my gluten-free grains using bone broth instead of water, or maybe even a mixture of 50-50 filtered or spring water plus a good bone broth like Kettle and Fire. So that way the minerals and the glutamine and the nutritional content and all of the really healthful detox characteristics of bone broth are now imparted to your quinoa or your buckwheat or your brown rice. And this helps to make a carbohydrate food in a complex form also more of a balanced carbohydrate because it will have more of those healthy fats and the protein characteristics from the bone broth. Also, I really like to use bone broth to braise vegetables low and slow in the oven. So if you've never done this before, root vegetables, especially in the wintertime, are a great thing to have on hand for cooking with bone broth. So instead of coating them with olive oil or maybe coconut oil, although you can do that too, that's still beneficial, instead add a little bit of bone broth to the bottom of your baking pan with whatever herbs and seasonings, salt and pepper that you're using with, say, rutabaga, beets, carrots, potatoes, parsnips, sweet potatoes, and let the deliciousness of the bone broth impart some kind of caramelization, and it also helps to keep those vegetables moist. You will have to check it though, because if you're cooking it for a long time, the broth will start to evaporate and you'll want to add some more so that these vegetables don't burn or stick to the bottom of your pan. So braising root vegetables with bone broth is another really great way to incorporate it into your fall and winter diet for detox benefits. The third way that I like to use bone broth, especially in the fall and winter, is with soups. Duh! Such an easy thing to do when you are making soups and you are adding a liquid component. So if you just don't want to sip on the bone broth, but you want to add the bone broth characteristics and all of that yumminess and delicious, nutritious benefits of the bone broth, just add it to your soups. So anything that would call for vegetables or any meat-based. I love to do like a turkey meatball soup with a variety of vegetables. Chicken noodle soup is my absolute favorite this time of year with really good gluten-free homemade, if you can find it, pasta, which are available sometimes in farmers markets late in the year or from an artisanal food producer or food co-op. We can find some here in our neighborhoods in Denver, or just a good brown rice noodle, really good chicken, maybe that you roast at home. Sometimes my husband will even smoke whole chickens, and then we'll have the smoked chicken meat to put into our chicken noodle soup, which sounds, delicious, right? So you're getting all of the nutrition from the soups as well as the nutrition from the bone broths. So check out a blog that I have on my website called We Eat Soup for Winter Immunity. You can read that blog post and you can learn all of the different ways in which we use soup to help boost our immune systems. I've basically been incorporating soups into our fall and winter diet for as long as I've been able to, and especially since my kids have been little, because kids do like soup. And you can also do things with bone broth. Like, let's say you would want to cut up a butternut squash, peel it, seed it, cut it up, cook it with some apples and maybe a yellow onion and some garlic and even a little thumb of turmeric root or ginger. Roast it in the oven. You can braise it with bone broth just like I was describing. And then you can puree it in a food processor or a blender like a Vitamix and add bone broth to thin it out and make it into a delicious butternut squash soup. So kids love this kind of food. It's really easy to prepare. You don't need to know a lot about cooking, and you're getting lots of nutrition from eating this way. So bone broth ranks number 1 on my top 3 of the best fall and winter detox foods. Okay, number 2 is beets. Beets are easy to find at the end of the summer. They are a root vegetable and they store really well throughout the winter. So if you can get your hands on some, maybe at your local farmer's market or at the health food store, you can store these in a cool, dark place in your house. Some people have root cellars. I know my grandma did. But today you can store it in a refrigerator. It will last for a few weeks, maybe even a couple of months, depending on the kind of the care and keeping of, say, your root vegetable drawer in your refrigerator. Or you can store them in a potato sack bag or even a nut cloth in your pantry in a cool area to prevent them from getting funny. But keep beets around all winter long for juicing them and adding a little bit of lemon juice. They're great for helping with circulation when the days are really cold. And also roasting beets or braising beets, just like I talked about with bone broth, is a really healthful addition to some delicious winter salads. One of my favorite winter salads is arugula, which you can pretty much get year-round. It's a bitter green, and roasted beets with walnuts, and a really delicious vinaigrette that is basically olive oil, honey, and balsamic vinegar, salt, and pepper. And you could add some other things too if you wanted to, like maybe a protein like chicken or salmon. But this makes a great side dish, and it's a great and easy and tasty way to get your beets in the wintertime. Well, what is so special about beets? I said that it can help to improve circulation when the days are cold and really chilly and you feel like your extremities are not getting enough blood flow. We know that beets can help to enhance a variety of the improvements to the capillaries and also to the blood flow of the entire body. And it helps to boost the oxygen that's in the blood as well. And there are some studies that suggest that beetroot juice can help also to improve sports performance. So this is really good if you are continuing to do some training year-round and you're looking for ways to help boost circulation and boost oxygenation with beets. But there are some other things that beets do that really help with detoxification. Well, they contain a group of phytonutrients called betalains. Okay, you don't have to remember that. Just know that beets support detoxification through increasing enzymes, which are part of really phase 2 detoxification. And phase 2 is when our body gets rid of those unwanted chemicals and toxins, etc., that it's been storing in your body's tissues, and then eliminates it by way of the colon. So the phytonutrients that are contained in beets help your body to just really process and get rid of the stuff that you don't want sticking around all through the winter. Betalains, these phytonutrients, are also really great at supporting an anti-inflammatory response in the body. Many researchers are now looking at this IF factor, or inflammation factor, and they're starting to rate different fruits and vegetables. Beets are one of the highest anti-inflammatory, and they get a really high rating of 274 on the IF factor. Compare this to something like almonds, which have a rating of 56. So you can see that beets are really, really powerful. In fact, beet greens are even higher in some of these betalains, and they are also a source of betaine. Betaine helps to support digestion and also helps to support healthy production of bile from the gallbladder, and it also helps to support your liver health. So beets as an anti-inflammatory and detoxifying agent are very, very powerful. Beets can help with blood pressure. So if you are eating beets, especially raw, so if you're juicing them or just maybe using a grater and shaving them onto a salad, for example, when they're eaten, these high levels of nitrates get converted into nitrites by bacteria in the body. You don't need to know the specifics of that, but basically nitric oxide is formed in your stomach, and this is a potent vasodilator that will help partly with some of the circulatory issues I was talking about, but also it helps as a vasodilator, and it helps to control blood pressure. Beetroot juice, which again is from raw beets, helps to decrease blood pressure in men from a particular study by up to 5 milligrams after a 6-hour resting period, and reduced their cardiovascular risk factor by 10%. This is pretty fascinating stuff. So beets are really powerful as ways to not only boost detoxification and enhance circulation and oxygenation, but also to lower inflammation and lower blood pressure in the body. So this winter, stock up on beets. Try some of the preparation methods that I've just described. You know, if you grew up thinking beets were kind of yucky, maybe give them a revisit. All right, last but not least, my number 3 top favorite food to include during a fall or winter detox, just as part of kind of your daily regimen, would be to start drinking some dandelion tea. Dandelion is delicious, and roasted, it actually even kind of tastes like coffee. So if you know this past few months you've been hitting the coffee a little bit hard and you feel like your body could use a little bit, maybe more support and less revving on those adrenal glands, check out some of the roasted dandelion teas that you can find from the health food store. I think they're really yummy, and they can help with a lot of detoxification processes in the body, while at the same time helping you to cut back on coffee. So similar to coffee, it is a diuretic, which means that dandelion tea can help to reduce water weight. If you're feeling bloated, if you're feeling puffy, drinking dandelion tea is a really good alternative to drinking coffee to help with some of this water weight that we tend to accumulate a little bit more in the colder months of the year. Also, dandelion tea can help to support the liver for years and years, generations and generations. Our wise women herbal medicine doctors have known that dandelion is basically a liver tonic. And the reason why is because it would help to detoxify when a person maybe had been exposed to something that they shouldn't have eaten or touched. So the mechanism is that the dandelion helps to support the gallbladder's production of bile, same thing as the beetroot that I just described, but it also helps with the relieving of certain problems like skin and eyes and some of the maybe like jaundice or yellowing even of the skin that can take place if your gallbladder is not working very well for you, and if you're maybe getting some of that bile flow impediments, maybe from a gallstone. You might want to check out my video that I have all about liver and gallbladder flushes to see if this is something that you need to do to help things along a little bit as well. But dandelion tea is really, really beneficial in this way. It helps to support bile flow. Now, some studies are being done right now to see if by any chance dandelion has an effect on the body that may support weight loss. Now, detox and weight loss are not the same thing. You can watch that video as well. The purpose of doing detoxification should not be to lose weight, because that could be an unhealthy way to lose weight. But if you're just trying to kind of stay healthy, keep your body running really efficiently, and age healthfully, also maintaining a healthy weight over the long term is one of the things that we know can help support healthy cells. So the research right now is checking to see if dandelion helps our bodies to better break down and digest fat, okay, in the body, which means that we wouldn't be maybe storing as much fat that doesn't get used as fuel as more fat cells in the body. So I'm keeping an eye on this research. It's actually coming out of Korea, and I find that to be quite interesting. So last but not least, the benefits of dandelion tea are that it can help to soothe kind of your common digestive ailments. I already mentioned bloating. That also includes gas, constipation, and potentially even nausea or just soothing an upset stomach. Dandelion tea has sort of that roasted flavor again, so I like it because it can help to replace coffee, a flavor that I love. Kids maybe think that it's a little bit on the bitter side, and you can easily sweeten it up with a little bit of raw honey after you steep your tea bag. So give these 3 foods a try this fall and winter. I'm also offering an online Rock Your Winter Detox program that I've been doing successfully for many years with my clients. And this year, because of COVID-19, more and more people are thinking about ways in which to do detoxification to help boost immunity, but also how can they do this safely and virtually. So this program, which previously was not available online, can now be done exclusively with coaching and guidance from me, and it includes all of the products that you need as part of a very successful journey through phase 1 and phase 2, liver detoxification. The protocol that I use is by Metagenics, and it's called the Clear Change Program. I'm really proud of this program. It's one that I've been using, as I said, for years and years with clients, and it's also my personal favorite that I do for myself. If you are interested in learning more about the Rock Your Winter Detox and more ways to incorporate really healthful and detox supporting foods into your diet, please check out the pinned comments below for a link to the Rock Your Winter Detox program on my website. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Go out and get some bone broth, maybe from Kettle and Fire. You can check that out down below. Stock up on some beets, roast those puppies up and have them on a delicious salad. And make yourself a nice warm cup of dandelion tea. It'll help warm you up from the inside out, and it'll also help to support your detox. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and set your notifications button, because every Tuesday and Friday I'm recording and putting out a new video for you. Thanks so much. Have a great day.